So Ice Spice, fan favorite here.
Oh, great.
Yeah, man.
That's what we're talking about.
So excited.
I'm going to tell you why. Y'all remember the video that I showed you of Jermaine Dupri talking about the requirements or how people felt about selling records, how it was a badge of honor, how you get clowned if you didn't sell X amount of records, how people cared about that. Well, Ice Spice, her first week sales came out on Billboard and it was 28K. So here's my question, because she's had the Taylor Swift, she's had the commercials, she's had the endorsements. It's almost giving you that, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, the 90s going into the 2000s machine behind her type vibe. This is not something where somebody just went viral and then they're going off that. She's been getting exposure. So for her to come out and sell 28K in the first week, what does that actually say? Because a lot of people say, oh, she can't rap. Oh, she can't this. Oh, she can't that. Is there something that's being justified here from a consumer standpoint? Are the consumers telling us something what they're doing 28K?
Yes.
What are you guys pulling from that? Because to me, I thought it'd be way more than that. Based on, here's why. The reason I say that is because I see her everywhere. I thought that would correlate in 2024. Maybe I'm tripping.
The festival appearances.
That's what I'm talking about. So that's what I want to ask y'all. What is this telling us, the 28K?
It's telling us that your popularity doesn't actually correlate to people being active listeners of your music.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, because Jermaine Dupri talked about this, and I think it was around the time that her album came out, and like it didn't do crazy numbers.
Similar.
Very similar.
Because I think in this, you know, like I said, I think I had to step away from, like, when I was talking about Doechii, and like I was kind of judging her music unfairly based on what I have to deal with 3 or 4 nights in the club, and I had to step away from that because right now, like I said, Sexy Red runs the clubs, but she can't sell tickets. People don't really, you know, as far as equivalent streaming units that equate to a sale.
Right.
That's not, those numbers aren't great. But because, like, people love her music in the club, but after that, like, they don't want to, that's not how they want to listen and move around in their daily lives. And I think we think about, once again, I'm going to bring this word up that means so many things to so many people, a vibe. You know, that vibe doesn't translate to people actually being active listeners of your music. You know, they may enjoy it when they're out and somebody else is curating that experience for them. You know, they'll watch you shake ass and twerk with no shoes on when you're at one of these festivals. But as far as saying, oh, I'm going to listen to the Ice Spice album and put this on, mind you, it's 10 songs long, and it's somehow still only 29 minutes.
I'm not surprised at the 29 minutes in today's era.
No, me neither.
All the
but
records
at the same,
be like 2 and some change.
But at the same time, like, okay, you're going to jump out the window. This is your look. This is your album debut, if you will. And I think people are interested in her, and like they like looking at her. Like I said, she knows how to look at the camera. She's going to be good for maybe advertising and pushing products. But people aren't interested in music like that. And it's just, you know, you can only, for a lack of a better term, shake ass. But for so much, because at the same time, everybody's shaking ass right now. That doesn't make you special. So that's not enough engagement for people to say, I'm going to buy her record. You know, I guarantee you, you know, there are other artists who have laid more of a groundwork and actually put a certain level of effort into their music. And I'm sorry, like, because I sat and I was like, okay, maybe, because once again, I listened to all these commercial records. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, maybe there's something for the club here. You know, because I don't want to be late on something. And it's not much there. There's not much there that it's 10 records I can live without as far as like the club experience is going right now. All right.
What you think, Long? Because I heard you kind of, I guess, agree with his initial thought.
I agree and disagree with Jay.
Okay.
I agree because here's where I think fundamentally, I don't know if this speaks as much about her as it is just the landscape of music. I agree that with everything he's saying about, or that you're saying about her, and there not being a lot there musically and all that other stuff. But I feel like in general, we're seeing this across the board as numbers are just kind of plummeting, because just consumers and how we consume stuff now. You know, I would like to see to get a more accurate, you know, representation of kind of what she's up against. Like, I would like to see first numbers for, you know, Sexy Red, and let me see first week numbers for Killer Mike, and let me see first week numbers for all these other people as well.
To see across the board what it looks like.
Right, maybe 29,000 or 28,000. That's good now.
Maybe it's good now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's because, you know, I don't know. But I do think at the same time, like, she's just somebody that, you know, she's just making records, and I don't really like any of the records. I don't think she's great. I don't think she's horrible.
We're not the target audience.
But exactly.
Not at all.
So like she's not making records for me, so I can only speak on it for so much. You know what I mean?
But you know, even when we talk about like what it is, this is not for me. This is not, you know, perfect. That's a perfect way to kind of put things in perspective. But for who it's for, they're not really responding.
Now that's a good point.
Like,
even if the people that it's for, the target audience is not responding.
These records don't play. Yeah. Like, you know, like the Sexy Red and the JT from City Girls, those records play. Mm-hmm. You know, like these I haven't really heard an Ice Spice record out as far as like, you know, what I'm having to do on Friday and Saturday nights. Really since much, like, and not even that song from the like, she had a look on the Barbie soundtrack with Nicki Minaj. Like, she got a song with Travis Scott. It's not like she doesn't have these incredible looks. So I don't know. There's a disconnect somewhere, and right now maybe there needs to be a recalibration of people's expectations as far as what these numbers are supposed to look like.
Terry, you said out the gate you weren't surprised. What's your thoughts?
I'm not surprised, but as far as like actually hearing Ice Spice, we have to realize too, we talked about regional sounds last week.
Yep.
These songs might not hit here or in the Midwest, but there's, you know what I'm saying, how many more? There's 49 other states that these songs might hit in.
Yeah,
that's true.
And might do different. I mean, there's a whole East Coast that are looking to somebody to embrace for a sound, and we just listened to the guy before in the video who has a similar song or sound that Ice Spice does. Mm-hmm. I just think personally that as far as record sales are not the end all be all of these artists anymore. It's just not.
Yeah.
And the whole reason that her album is so short, 10 songs, you said 30 minutes, something
barely
under 30 minutes, is because it's to get in and get out. Their whole point is to try to make something that's going to be catchy, that's going to pick up on one of these social media platforms. Because social media is literally breaking people.
I think that's another piece of this, because you can monetize your social media now. So like if she's got 10 records and she gets on here and she twerks on one of these records and then it gets 1 million views and then she twerks on it again with a different video, it's just kind of the same as streaming money, but it's
just a different platform.
It's being calculated differently, you know. So
I think there's a message.
It's an attention thing more for her than it is like album sales. I think.
And then when she's on these tours or festivals, it's a group of people doing the exact same formula. So I might not have came here just to see Ice Spice, but I want to hear her perform this verse on this song and maybe another song. Okay, let's move on and hear the next artist that has 2 or 3 songs that I'm familiar with. It's literally the same formula for everybody that's trying to come up in the ranks and are very popular online. There hasn't been a mega star come out, I would probably say, in the past.
What, since Bruno Mars? When was the last biggest? I mean, I don't even know. Cardi B?
I don't know. Cardi B was struggling for a while. She still hasn't dropped her album yet.
Yeah.
She dropped a single. It's not doing the greatest. Again, that's here though. I don't know what it's doing.
Right, for sure.
In other regions.
I forgot about her music wise.
We focus more so on numbers because we came we come
from the SoundScan era.
You know, we come from that era of people are dropping an album and you're selling platinum the first weekend that it's out. The tides have turned now, so those album sales don't necessarily factor into, I think, how popular this artist is.
I don't think I agree with you. I don't think they really have as much of a cultural impact from a social media standpoint.
So is it fair to say that, and this is just based off what I'm taking from what everyone is saying, is you can make a case that social media and presence and all that is better or supersedes anything in terms of record sales? I just think it's more important. Is one more important, or are they more hand in hand?
I think artists such as Ice Spice look at this more so like the Spotify CEO does in the sense that it's content. You know, it's a content piece. The music is a content piece that she utilizes as opposed to really caring about record sale numbers. Plus, that's literally just where the record industry is right now. Nobody's doing a million.
Nobody's doing crazy
Other
numbers.
than Taylor Swift, it's Taylor Swift and everybody else.
Yeah, you have to realize too that people aren't pressing up copies like they used to.
True.
So if she sells 28,000 records, there was no money put into making this jewel case and this pamphlet that goes into the CD, the actual pressing of the CD. There wasn't a photo shoot that went together that has to be printed either. All she's doing is putting it out. If people buy it,
download it.
Yeah, I mean, stuff is already paid for as far as like production and features and things like that. But I mean, the bottom line is just to get it out there and let's figure out what we can do with it,
right? Without
just having to focus on let's sell this album. That's not the main. I don't think people even care about if their album sells anymore. It's almost like they care about if one or two of these songs take off, we're good. And we can pretty much make our money back that way off these couple of songs. We can get some advertising money.
We could get a brand deal.
Appearance here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It all factors in from the outside of the actual selling of that record.
Even with the article too, there were like some comments that were posted from some of her core fans or whatever. I'm not sure what her fan base is called, but it's something equivalent to like
the Ices.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Slushies,
the Spices.
I like slushies better than I like slushies better than ices.
Shout out to all the slushies out there.
Yeah, but the comments were very encouraging. It's okay. It's your first time. Don't worry about it. But it kind of speaks to what Terry is talking about in terms of, and what actually you've all alluded to, is that there's been a change. The consumers are like, don't worry about it. Don't trip. You still popping here. You still popping there. Like those were some of the comments that were, as she was responding to her, slushies on X or Twitter or whatever the hell. I'm getting on. Go ahead.
Like we was talking about we had the conversation about Little Brother a while ago.
Yeah.
About how their release was considered a flop.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was like 200,000 maybe.
Yeah, you talking about the minstrel show?
Yeah,
on the land.
That was considered a flop.
That's when people
back then
doing 5 and 6.
Yes, they're doing that out the gate.
Could you imagine that 200 now? How it's gonna hit?
Man, they would be the #1 selling artist right now, essentially.
But, you know, when you talk about 20, because this is where I actually shot.
No, actually, only 18,000 copies.
18,000.
18,000?
Yeah, that was rough.
Now that's different. That's rough.
In 2010, that's rough.
That's rough.
So it said, what did it say? Long
sold slightly more than 100,000 copies. Okay,
as of 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is kind of bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Okay.
We love Little Brother, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I bought it, so I'm one of them. I bought
exactly. Me, I have hard copies of all Little Brothers albums.
That's wild. 18. That is a flop,
bro. We're one of the 18s. I'm assuming all of us cop. I cop.
This is why our show has so low viewership.
We just like Little Brother. Y'all mess with us in real life, but the numbers don't really.
Yeah,
that's wild.
But this is the thing. You know, now it doesn't matter what my first week numbers are. And you know, this is I said I alluded. I was trying to shoot, of all things, with Sexy Red a little bit of bail, because I said, well, what are her?
She doesn't deserve bail.
You tried to shoot her a little bail though, bro.
Because I said, well, what are her poll star numbers? Was it looking like as far as her appearances? But then come be a couple months later, and they try to do an arena tour, or not a stadium tour, or whatever, you know. And people were like, "Nah, we're not going to pay for that."
That's because they can go see them at the club. So you can come do an appearance at the club. Yeah. I can hear your 2 songs that I really enjoy, and then party and pay $20 to get in.
Jay Moore
versus me paying $90 to come see you in concert, and then got to buy drinks at the concert venue. The beer costs $20 to have a drink.
It's a lot cheaper. $15.
It's a lot cheaper for you to come in my city and me see you at the club, because I know you're going to do club.
But Jay Moore's going to bring a sparkling bottle.
No, I'm not. But this is the thing. But see, you know, like people talked about Meg's first week sales. Yeah. But when it was time to sell some tickets, people were willing to see Meg. They spent money to see, you know, she's doing a stadium tour right now.
Meg is a controversial artist, so to speak. I mean, she just had a whole court tour. I mean, not court tour, but a court situation with
Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez that has garnered them a TV show on HBO.
Shouts to the plug for us.
There you go.
Thank you.
Because we're in it.
Yeah.
We're definitely in it.
It also garnered her more attention on social media because she's in the news. So she's feeding the machine more stuff that makes people feel like I'm more connected to this person.
But this is when we're talking about like music industry numbers.
Yeah.
People are like, okay, well, her songs aren't popping like they used to. You know, it used to be you couldn't get away from Meg songs in the club or on the radio, and like right now, you know, it's really kind of hit and miss. But it's a difference between what people will pay for, you know, and plus, but now mind you, Meg has a longer track record. She's got the Grammy nom. She's got the association with Rock Nation. You know, I think that the people who were running Sexy Red's situation, they saw how hot she is as far as her songs just ring off. Like you could do a whole Sexy Red in the set right now, and nobody's going to say anything.
I feel like Glorilla's better though.
I mean, but you know, Glorilla's she's got that heat too. Now, mind you, Glorilla and Meg are on tour together. I think there's many.
That's a good look.
There's many people there to see Glorilla because her songs are hotter right now.
Krubin.
But what you're talking about are people who have a bit more of a track record, and you can put together a tour like that. With Sexy Red, you'd have to put somebody on tour. They just thought they could throw her in there, and 15,000 people were going to come see her.
Nah,
and it doesn't work like that.
Her best bet is to tour with Drake, since her and Drake are such good friends now.
Yeah,
her best bet is to open up for Drake in order for her to be able to go on tour. But she's not a tour headliner. She's just not that person.
She's not a music artist. None of these people are music artists to me. And
I mean, that's the general consensus.
And I know that's controversial. To an extent, it's controversial. But
I mean, I agree with you.
But the reason why I say this is because the 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐔𝐓 has made over $1 million from appearances.
That tells you a lot. That tells you a lot about today's culture.
I feel my point is this. I feel like Ice Spice, yes, she happens to make music. You know what I mean? Sexy Red happens to make music, but these are content creators.
These are famous.
This is not
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you for that long.
So like what we've been saying.
So like when we're arguing, like when we talk about like Little Brother sold 18,000 in their first week and they made good versus Sexy Red, it's like real musicians went out and failed and content
prevailed.
It's
content prevailed. Day and time. That just it is what it is.
It bothers me.
Lone, there are a lot of people. I know we don't care about you know the line, but you said something right there when you said, because there's a section of people that won't understand what you just said about content creators being successful in music versus artists. There are definitely two different things. I've had this conversation before. Nah, man, they're musicians. No, they're not. They're not musicians. These are not musicians, bro.
Yeah, it's almost
they're not even artists.
It's disrespectful.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it's disrespectful to artists to call people that are moonlighting as artists to make money.
He said it.
It's disrespectful to like I can entertain it to an extent, but then after a while, it's just like.
You got to call it what it is. Just call it what it is. Just call it what it is. These are not artists. They're not musicians. The word musician is criminally used wrong everywhere. Because a lot of these people are not musicians.
Everybody in the entertainment business aren't artists. Everybody that acts aren't really actors, or you know what I'm saying. They didn't study at Juilliard. They haven't taken the steps.
Everybody ain't Denzel.
They're good at memorizing a script and following the script.
Yeah,
but they're not necessarily considered like a great, essentially. And we're just in a day and age and time right now where, like you said, content. That's pretty much what we were getting at. If it makes it on one of these social media platforms, that's all that matters. That's the bottom line is making it on social media.
Yeah.
And your content being seen in front of people and pretty much grasping the status quo of what's popular right now. That's why Meg is still flourishing, because she's still been in people's faces without even dropping music. She's, like we said, she had the documentary. Mm-hmm. Kamala just put her on there.
You know, there are people who would rather be famous than be rich.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
And I think right now we have people who not only would rather be famous than be rich, but they'd rather be famous than be great. You know, I mean, so it doesn't even really
They'd
bother
rather be
them.
famous and broke.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother them to put out music that they know nobody's going to care about in a year and a half or two, because
they're not artists.
they're not artists.
It goes back
if
to
you're
that.
an artist, it's like Erykah Badu said, you know, I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of these people will be like, I don't care. I'm on TV.
Look,
Yeah.
I think it's I don't have a problem with people that are creating art and their art sucks, but at least they're trying. Like,
I'll take that.
It's
I'll
like,
take that. I'll take
because I
that.
feel like that's just a path, and eventually you're. That's why I look Lil Yachty,
Mhm.
right? His early stuff. All right, cool. It was whatever. He was young. He was doing whatever he's doing. Then he dropped that album where he was trying a whole bunch of interesting stuff on. I can at least appreciate that for what it is and the things that he was attempting to do. He was progressing in that manner. But like some of these people, I don't even think they don't care. And I feel like they're obvious about the fact that they don't care.
That's why they don't know the words of their songs.
But you got to remember,
They don't care that much to even learn the words of their songs.
To Lone's point, though, I think you hit the nail on the head. We are actually in a time in the world where you can become famous on social media, and I don't even care if music is your intention. It may not have been. If you go viral on social media, there are like 7 doors to entertainment that will open up just because you popular. You can be like, I want to be a rapper. I might be a content creator on Instagram. I might want to do this. I might want to
start a podcast.
I can start a podcast.
They're
I might want
literally
to do a TV
making
show.
more money than the musicians.
Thank
are.
you.
Bad Baby has streamed more records than anybody at this table.
60-something million off OnlyFans.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No,
Yes. That's a whole nother platform.
Once again,
that's not even talking about.
once
the
again,
OnlyFans
but once
stuff.
again,
But
this is
she's
somebody.
got rap records out.
Yeah, exactly. She got rap records with Meg out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You know,
look, once again, it's
literally
the
the
difference
era,
between wanting to be famous and wanting to be great, or even wanting to be respected.
Lone is right,
Yeah,
though.
for some people, respect is overrated in their book because they'd rather have the fame.
Lone is 100% right, and you're correct on what you said. I think we all have made very valid points, but nobody cares about, it's not about, I'm going to put this out and it's going to be good. I'm going to put this out and then I'm going to see what I can get from it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's the approach.
They don't care.
It's literally
about,
it.
End of the day, nobody cares about selling albums right now.
Yeah.
We're the only generation left that cares about selling albums.
But
I think you're right, man. I think you're right.
When we talk, we looked up that little brother stat.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, that says a lot for them to start at 18, because usually you start at whatever you start at, the next week you cut that in half, and next week you cut that in half.
Right.
So for them to even get to 100,000 is impressive.
But that makes me respect Lil Brother so much
But
more.
also, you got to look at it like this. Phonte just put out some music
Yeah.
this morning, and there are people who are checking for it.
Lone said the wax sold out.
20 years later. We're talking about basically 20 years later, And so,
The 18,000 in Deterrum.
so
Clearly.
Kept going.
Clearly.
what exactly? And so when you're talking about these record sales now and what people are, you understand this is going to be the peak for them.
Yeah.
And in 20 years, people aren't going to be like, oh man, let me get that anniversary Ice Spice Y2K record.
To your point, we saw it live at Made in Durham.
Yeah.
We saw it live.
Yeah.
We saw it live.
You guys got on the road,
Man.
Yeah.
spent gas money and ticket money.
Airbnb bread, all of that.
We even brought the big ass
Brought
poster.
the banner home. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, the anniversary about to come up. We need to take a picture with that mug again. So
That banner's huge, by the way.
we folded it up on some
But yeah, like I think even, but to the point, like Phonte just dropped his Pacific Part 2.
Pacific
Part two,
Time.
yeah.
Pacific Time Part 2.
I think, yeah.
I think it's got 4 records on it. But he dropped, it was an orange vinyl and a black vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
I know the black vinyl had 200 pieces total. I got one before it sold out. But that's only, but that's only like 400, maybe 400 pieces.
Yes.
But at how much?
Yeah, but I guess my thing is like, even him, like he's okay with a limited run copy of this.
And it's going to sell out.
Yeah. He doesn't care about his spot on Billboard. He doesn't care about it.
Terry
it's gonna
said
sell out, and then people even nowadays, like I mentioned earlier, they don't drop a physical copy.
True.
Yeah. So they'll do a pre-order. So they'll only press up what was pre-ordered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only going to press up what people pre-ordered. Then I'm not sitting on anything.
That's
Right.
actually smart.
Yeah.
Very smart. Very
now
smart.
everything that I made off of this is profit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No
because I'm
surplus.
not putting any money up front. you may not get your copy for 2 months.
That's how
because
it
I'm
is.
waiting
Yep.
for everybody to buy it, and then I shut the sales down, and now I'm going to ship out everything that I sold.
Yeah.
But you know you got one, and it's on the way.
That's all that matters.
And
people aren't concerned with selling that physical copy,
And that's
it's
what
novelty at this point.
Yeah.
facts. And I think what Lone said, or no, Jay Moore said, talking about, we talking about artists, these content creators. I would take a guess to say, a good guess to say, there won't be a commemorative Ice Spice vinyl.
No, because it
'cause
falls into the whole thing. Everything that we talk about, we've talked about it in some way, shape, or form before.
Right.
It's part of the thing that we talked about. It's moment music.
Moment music.
So it's good for now. It works for now, and later it'll be. They might pick 1 or 2 songs from Ice Spice 20 years from now at somebody's kids' class reunion.
Yeah, it'll be on Jock Jams or
You know what I'm
something.
saying?
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, nothing more, nothing less. We got to leave it at that. Like 28, their whole thing is to get in, get the money, get out.
Yeah.
I haven't lost anything.
Stay as long as you can.
Yeah, that's it.
You know,
And
it's
you
like
know-
that house guest that won't leave.
100%. We've alluded to. I've said it 5 times. I feel like, which speaks to Ice Spice. I'm like, man, that 15 minutes keeps stretching out.
Well, I mean,
The mug keeps stretching out. It keeps stretching out.
𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐔𝐓 is a 15-minute example.
Yeah.
Ice Spice, I wouldn't
You wouldn't
consider
put 15
her,
on
I
her
wouldn't
like that?
consider her 15
Maybe
minutes.
she get an hour.
She
a little bit more.
she's just extended her 15 minutes. That's
I
all
think she's extended it.
And I
Yeah.
feel like the Haley Welch, which is call her by her name, Haley Welch has also extended her 15 minutes as well, just by being kind of interesting and doing
Hers
things.
ain't gonna last too
But
long, no.
maybe not. I don't know. She's getting ready to fight for $100,000 with somebody else. You know, like
You know what, Lone? You right.
and
Let me
it's
stop.
like it's one of those things where it's about attention. It's not about any particular type of specific talent. We're not talking about artistry.
Right.
It's
You're
about
right.
attention.
Look.
And that's, like usually I'm just like, let people do whatever they're going to do. But like when you cross, like they're not musicians.
No, I'm vouching for her. I'm backing
She's
you
not
on
a
that
musician,
100%. She's not.
And I got a lot of flack when I said Sexy Red wasn't an artist.
She's not.
Like
Nope. She's
about
not.
a year ago. And it's just the truth. It's
local
just
beef
the truth.
It's local beef with her and Kitty Red.
I saw
right
that.
now. Yeah.
Something about
Who?
Who's stealing
Red.
whose song? Was Kitty Red stealing a song or was Sexy
No,
Red?
Sexy Red. They're saying,
Yeah.
Kitty Red is saying that
Allegedly.
Sexy Red is allegedly stealing her ideas from the past and
Midwest beef.
bringing them back to. I don't know.
Look at Jay.
I mean, are they really?
We know who Jay Moore gonna ride for.
I just wish Kitty Red's like somebody would get in there and mix her songs better. They sound really muddy and terrible on the good speakers.
Well, they're gonna call you a hater,
I know
buddy.
some people that can do that for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.